guys know what that means?
100 years.
100 years. Do you know how many 100 years are?
A lot.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you. Justin, how old are you?
7.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be 7 quarters, right? How old are you?
8.
Okay, so we would add 1 for you. How old are you?
8.
You're 8. Good, that works great. How old are you, Lucas?
3.
3. So there would be 3 quarters, okay?
Mine.
Yes. And now guess what? The Emmet Church has been going for 100 of these years. That's a long time, isn't it? Huh? I want to show. Yeah. Can you sit on your bottom? Here, sit on your bottom. There we go. Crisscross applesauce. All right. So that's how many years our church has been in Emmet. And that's what we've been talking about, all the people and things that we do. So the story I found is one of my favorites. It has to do, can you put this up for me, Lucas? Can you put this away for me? All right. It has to do with, I might have lost my boy. A boy and his, what?
Dog.
A boy and his dog, and I think I lost my picture of Bernie. So, what I'd like to talk about today, actually I'm going to read it, because it's kind of a long story, so I need you guys to stick with me. But it's really a good story, okay? Oh, we did lose some. All right, because I'm afraid I will lose some of the story if I don't. Do you know when the Centennial started? In 1909. That's when Emmet started here. This book, or this story, was published in 1910. So it's kind of an old story, all right? Maybe we'll just try to listen. There was a boy, and his name was Tom, all right? His uncle gave him a dog for his birthday. Have you guys ever had a dog?
Yeah, I have one.
All right. Do you know they call dogs man's best friend, right? Okay, this dog loved Tom. Tom loved Tiger. They went everywhere together. And Tom was an absolutely wonderful young man. But he had one downfall. You know what it was? A temper. Do you know what a temper is? What's a temper? What's a temper?
When you're really, really mad.
When you're really mad. Okay, who makes choices when you're mad? Do you choose to be mad? Yes, you do. You choose to allow people to make you mad. Well, this little boy had a horrible temper. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But on a very, very beautiful sunny day, Tiger and Tom were walking down the road, and they ran into their friend, I think it's Chuck Casey. You gotta look at my name here. Dick, excuse me. Dick Casey, a friend of theirs. And it wasn't like it is now where you just drive to the store and stuff to walk around town. And his dad owned a store, and they had a granary, which is where they stored all the grain and things. And he said, hey, come play with me. So they were up in this big loft, and they were playing, and little boys were having fun and goofing around. Then guess what happened? They started to argue. It could have been that my dad's tougher than your dad, my dog's better than your dog. We don't know what started the argument, but they started arguing, and they started pushing and shoving and yelling. And then what Dick said, well, then I'm smarter than you, and I'm right. And, oh, remember that temper I was telling you about? Tom lost his temper, and he pushed Dick. Dick fell out the window, and it was a big, tall, and he crumbled on the ground. Yeah. What do you think Tom thought? Tom thought he killed him. He thought Dick died. How do you think he felt? Horrible, huh?
Really, really bad.
Really, really bad. Do you think he meant to push him? No, he probably didn't mean to hurt him, but he did mean to push him. You're right.
Yeah.
He thought he was dead. And then they got to looking, and you know what happened? Praise the Lord, there was a rope hanging from the big, tall doorway. And Dick was able to grab it, and he saved his life. But as he came down the rope, he ripped his hand all up. Oh, and Tom was so sad and so scared, and he was crying, and the people in the store yelled at him, said, you could have killed him. He said, I didn't mean to. And they weren't very nice, and so he walked away. Well, the little Dick went to the doctor, and they stitched up his hands, and he went home. And Tom went over and said, can I come check on my friend? Mrs. Casey said, no, you tried to kill him. Get away from my door. Tom was possessed. You know what Dick said? Oh, Mother, it was my fault too. He didn't do it by himself. It was my fault. I was fighting too. Let him come in. That reminds me a lot of God. Because God, even when we do things wrong, does God stay mad at us? No, He loves us no matter what. And so Dick went in, or Tom went in and checked on Dick, and they talked. Well, Mrs. Casey, Dick's mom, was still beside herself. She said, his hands are ruined. Who's going to take care of my garden and take my food to the store? Because like we go to the store here at Albertsons, they didn't do that. They had to grow all their garden stuff, take them down to the road, down to the farmer's market, and sell them. And Tom said, I will. And sure enough, every day, Tom was over there. He weeded the garden. He planted the garden. He took all the fruits and vegetables to the stand and sold them until every last one was there. Sometimes Tom's dad would walk by, and he'd see him, and oh, how Tom's dad wanted to stop and help him. But he knew that's how Tom would learn how to learn how to govern himself, how to keep control of his temper. And so he didn't help him. He just smiled and waved. So everything was really going good, but then when they took the bandages off of Dick's hands, they were ruined. The doctor did not know how to fix them, and he stitched him up wrong. And so even though the bandages were off, he still couldn't use his hands. Oh my, what were they to do? He still couldn't help Mom in the garden. And they said, oh, if only we had the money to go to the big city of New York and we could fix it. Do you know what Tom did? Tom took his beloved dog and he walked him over to Major White's house and said, Major White, do you still want my dog? And Major White said, are you selling him? Tom says, I have to. So Tom sold his dog to Major White, his beloved dog. Oh my. And the dog was whining and crying and scratching, and Tom had to walk away. How do you think Tom felt?
Sad.
Oh, I bet you he cried. In fact, that's the first time I've told this story without crying so far. It just made him so sad. But he got the money, and he gave the money to Dick's mama, okay, and said, here. So they took Dick to the big city. They fixed his hands up, and he was all better. And then Tom's birthday comes around again. This year, he was so excited he had a new dog. He was sad. He was sitting in the woods and he was crushed. And all of a sudden he heard this. He looked up. Oh, who was there?
His dog.
Do you know what he said? Through his tears, he said, Tiger, go back. Tiger, you've got to go back. I can't have you. You can't run away. And do you know what Tiger dropped?
What?
Tiger dropped a note. Tom looked down, picked it up, and this is what it said. My dear child, Tiger is pining, and I must give him a change of air. I wish him to have a good master, and knowing that the best ones are those who have learned to govern themselves, or learn to control their temper. I send him to you. Will you take care of him and oblige your old friend, Major White? And through the tears he read, P.S. I know the whole story, dear friend. Be not weary of doing